Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today for this week's question and answer video. My name's David, I'm a life coach and I try to help people heal and grow and recover from all kinds of different trauma. This is a weekly question and answer video that I put out every single Monday. I try to never miss it. I encourage all of you, please ask me questions. If you guys are suffering, you're hurting, you have shame, you have guilt, you don't know what to do, you don't know why this is happening or how to heal, please keep asking questions. It's the best way to start healing from your past and your traumas is to understand what happened, okay? So please ask questions. Today I'm answering questions from the last week's video. So any of you have a question, go down below into the comment section. Ask me anything you want. I don't care. There is no such thing as a bad question or stupid question. You can be repetitive as many times as you want. Everybody that's watching needs to hear these things over and over again until it starts clicking. And tell us your locations if you can. Please drop down there and just say, hey, I'm so-and-so from Canada. I really like to see that. It's really encouraging, I think, and validating for other people to see that they're not alone in this and that it's not just about who they are or where they are in the world. This is everywhere, okay? And I really love to see you guys tell us where you are at and asking lots of questions. Thank you. So I recommend things every single week. I recommend authors and YouTube channels and sleep aids and anxiety, depression, things that help for those. This week, I want to recommend something I've recommended before. And I want you to know the 3 major steps of healing from trauma that you guys are trying to do. First one is to talk. Talk to somebody, okay? Get all this stuff out. Share. Don't hold it in or you'll be all alone with it, okay? Talking, getting it out, does so many different things. Just a couple of things is you will emotionally feel better to get this stuff out. It's expressing your emotions, okay? It's great to hear ourselves talk this stuff out. A lot of times we'll answer our own questions just by hearing ourselves talk. Bouncing things off of somebody validating us, somebody emotionally supporting us. Friends and family are great support. You can vent and stuff like this, but I strongly suggest to everybody to get help, professional help. There's therapists, counselors, life coaches that help heal from these things. And I know there's a lot of out there that don't know about this stuff, who can't understand what you went through. And I'm sorry. And in every profession, there are professionals that aren't good enough or aren't good people or just don't understand and can't help you. So it doesn't mean give up, okay? This causes depression. And depression is that voice in our head saying, don't try, don't do it. You'll never get any better anyways. Why even try? So please, get the help you need. This is about being emotionally responsible. If you have other people in your lives, children, other family members, friends, if you want to have successful relationships, it's your duty and your job to get better, to heal, to understand what happened to you, and to know how to have healthy, functional relationships. Because you have them, you have relationships now, don't you, with somebody, and you plan on having more later. And I don't mean just dating, friends, family. Maybe you have children someday. We've got to understand and know how to relate to them and build relationships that grow. That's the most important thing in our lives, okay? Second is socialize. These experiences make us withdraw. They make us isolate and not socialize. It's the worst thing you could do. The best thing you could do is socialize. It does amazing things. It alleviates guilt. It makes us feel better and comfort. Okay? It can actually help healing. Okay? The most important thing in our lives, relationships, society. Third, what this video is mostly about is being creative. Creativity. Being creative. Try to think of, the damage that's been caused to you, emotional trauma, is damage to your brain. And there are many things that we are in control of, things that we can do to help our brains heal. One is sleep. Absolutely imperative and so important. Sleep. Another is being creative. Creativity opens up our minds, our brains. And because these experiences will close everything off. Depression. The world's a bad place. Don't try. It's ugly. And being creative opens up our brains, opens up our minds, and it helps us stay in the present and look forward to the future. I mentioned to you guys before, and a lot of you guys ask about my personal life, and you want to know more, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm going to share at the end of this video, or if this is a two-part video, at the end of part 2, I'm going to share just some of the work I've been doing the last couple months, just to show you guys that I'm doing it, that I practice what I preach. I don't just suggest these things. These are things that I do in my own life. And it is, I mean, creativity, what this does is it makes your environment better as well, healthier. And one of the biggest things I did in my life to heal from these things, believe it or not, was to add color. I, like many of you, didn't have color in my life. My favorite colors were black, white, gray, maybe dark blue. But I wouldn't even wear blue, really. Just black, white, gray. So many of us do that because we've had lives, childhoods that are neglectful, and we don't express ourselves, and we feel bad and guilty and ashamed and nervous and weird expressing ourselves. And that's one way that we express ourselves. Things that we wear and show the colors that we like and things like this. If I could get you guys to do anything in this video, add color to your life. I started doing that a while ago, and it's been just beautiful, and I just embrace color now in everything I have. I added color, so much color, to all my life, parts of my life, and it's just been wonderful. So some of the photos I'm going to show you, I'll just tell you now in case I forget. It's just some, screw home repairs. Let's think of environmental upgrades. Ways to upgrade our environment around us, okay? And we have a lot of control over this, right? Where you live and stuff like this, but your home, okay? And I don't care if you rent. There are so many things you guys can do to your home to improve it, to upgrade it, to renew it, to make it beautiful, and make your lives more colorful, happier, and healthier. I did a couple things I'll show you in the photos. I just have a few photos. It'll show you some of the things I've done, and it'll show you some of the artwork. So I've started this artwork that I love, and it's called acrylic pour art. It's just absolutely beautiful. Acrylic paints are really pretty, and these are made for pouring, and you pour them out onto anything. I mean, from furniture, you could do your countertops and your floors. I've done some furniture. I've done some paintings, and I've done a couple vases, stuff like that. You'll see in the photos. So you guys have questions about this stuff or about my photos, just ask me. I'll tell you. I'm going to put couple links down below in the description box. I think to just some YouTube channels that go over some of this stuff much better than I will, more extensively, if you guys are interested in it. It's very easy. It's very cheap. It's very affordable. Everything I did in my photos are extremely affordable. I made like an outdoor fireplace. I made like an outdoor bench and stuff. That stuff was cheap. I used cinder blocks, posts, stuff like that. Cinder blocks, like $2. I mean, really cheap. Really, I mean, there's really no excuse for you guys not to do some of these things, except you're depressed. You don't feel like it. And I want you to know, with depression, symptoms are also causes. So if you look at all the symptoms of depression, right? Like feeling bad, first thoughts are negative thoughts, and maybe staying up all night and sleeping all day, and not being a part of society, and withdrawing, isolating, and all these things, right? You do these things, it'll cause depression. So if you're doing this stuff, you're not going to get better, okay? You're not going to get better. This is one way to get better and really enjoy it. And I also want to add, the biggest part is everything I've been doing, and all my photos and all my gifts and all this, it's all been gifts. I've given all of it away. The repairs and the improvements at the house have been at families and friends' homes. The paintings and all that stuff, I've given it all away. And I cannot explain how good it feels. I'm getting goosebumps. It is just the best feeling in the world, isn't it? To help people, to give. And it can be selfish. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you giving stuff to people, and it makes yourself feel better. It's a proven fact that it does, because we're such social animals. It creates bonds, and it just makes us feel good. It makes our self-worth rise, which is greatly affected by trauma and abuse. So That's enough of that. Anybody has questions? And the paintings I've done and all that, everything with color, I used acrylic pour paints and I sealed it with epoxy resin, and they just come out gorgeous. Let me know what you think of my artwork. Thanks. Okay, I think I got everything out about that. So let's get on with the questions. Great questions as usual. Like I said, there's no such thing as a bad question, stupid question. It doesn't matter if it's repetitive. If you don't understand my answer, ask me again. If I don't understand your question appropriately or right, ask me again, okay? If I missed your question, please keep asking me. Things happen. Sometimes people's questions get erased. Sometimes I just don't see it, okay? So please keep asking me. Thank you. And tell us your locations. Like Fate Twisted. I don't know where you're from. Fate Twisted says, David, you are doing such important work. I'm proud that you figured it all out so you could heal. Good for you, David. Well, thank you very much. That's very nice. I'm glad I figured it out and could heal too. I hope you are too. And it's also nice to know how to share it with you guys, right? And I have a profession doing this, helping people, a coaching business. Thank you very much. Next one is from Nessa, United Kingdom. Hello, Nessa. Being that ghosting seems a narcissistic thing to do, I wondered if it was to find new supply and the entitled attitude as to why these disorder types play Casper. Well, I mean, the simple answer is personality disorders surface in relationships. That's the problem. People have a personality disorder. Their problem is, yes, they have a personality disorder, but what that means is they can't form or maintain any kind of relationships with people. Biggest problem in the world that would be. You guys are having some problems with that, I'm sure. And it's massively stressful, okay? Most important thing in our emotional needs, and the only way we have them met is with other people, relationships with people, okay? So if those are the most important thing in our lives, and there's people that cannot even do it at all, they're suffering. You guys have been abused by narcissists, borderlines, sociopaths, psychopaths, and you ask, you think they're happy and you think they're better off with somebody else and now they're having a great relationship. And no. Personality disorders were derived because people cannot have relationships, and they couldn't with you, and they're not going to with somebody else just because they're pretty or young or smart or rich. Doesn't matter. It's not about them. It's not about other people. It's about them. They have the problem and they need to fix it, and you can't fix it, and somebody else can't fix it, and love doesn't fix it even though they don't want it. Okay? So my answer to you, Nessa, I'm just going to read it for everybody. It's about ownership, as if we are objects. You don't need to give your car closure when it breaks down and you buy another. And you don't wish your garbage well before you discard it. Right? And it's very important to understand this. You guys want to understand your narcissistic ex and all the pain they caused you, start understanding their disorder, because their disorder is who they are. This is a personality disorder. Okay, they are their disorder. That's who they are. And narcissists do not value any kind of emotional connection with people, do not care who you are, don't like who they are. They're not interested in that stuff. They exploit people, meaning they objectify them. You're an object. And they use you, they exploit you for what you offer them. It's very important to maybe identify what that is. It can be very difficult to do that, especially in your own childhood. So they don't value people. They don't value emotional connection with people and who people are and how you feel. You're an object. You provide something to them. And when that stops, they throw you away and they find another one, easily replaceable. Okay? Hope that answers your question, Nessa. Thank you. Next one's from Rory from Ohio. Hi, Rory. Love that saying. No, thank you. How good that must have felt for Victoria. Also, so great she got to show her mother what a strong person she was. That made me smile. It made me smile too. It was really, really nice. Victoria felt really good about that. And what Rory is referring to is in the last video, maybe in the one before that, I've just tried to offer some tips for boundaries, okay? And here's something you all can do. Try out, okay? A lot of us don't realize we have poor boundaries. A lot of us, it's hard to admit that because it's a measure of our self-worth. And a lot of people, it's hard for them to admit if they have low self-worth. It's hard for them to admit it, to see it, to identify it. So here's a little experiment for you guys. So when somebody asks you for something, no matter what it is, the next person that asks you for something, say no. Without apologies, without excuses, right? Because we don't need to. If somebody asks us for something, no. We don't need to say, sorry. And we don't need to say, no, I can't because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Just no. Because no is enough. What you want is enough. How you feel is enough. And if you don't feel that way, then you'll start giving apologies, you'll start giving excuses, and you'll just say yes. So if you want to understand where your self-worth is, try that out. Now, piece of advice, instead of apologies, instead of excuses, say no thank you. That's nice, it's respectful. If somebody doesn't like that, guess who has the problem? Them. Don't make it yours. So I just love the saying, no thank you. I was telling people in the last video that when I was young, I had a problem. I had to work downtown and I had to walk by 25 homeless people. Can I have $1? Can I have a quarter? Can I have this? Do you have any money? Do you have any change? And I was a kid still, and it just killed me. I was like, here you go. And I would just feel awful afterwards. And I'm like, get so angry at myself. I get angry at them, and I didn't realize I'm actually angry at myself for doing it. So stop. And it was the no thank you. That was perfect. Because I'd say, no, I can't right now. I have no money. I will tomorrow. I'm broke. When I have money right in my pocket, right? That's your self-worth. I had low self-worth. What helped was no thank you. David, can I have $1? Or just, guy walking down the street, can I have $1? No thank you. And they're just like, huh? Yeah, what can you say after that? No thank you. And you smile and you walk off. And they almost think you don't even understand them. Like they asked you if they could give you $1 or something. Anyways, I like that too, Rory. Thank you. It's great to see people form boundaries finally and be healthy and think that they're worth it. And Liz says, I love no thank you too. Arno from the Netherlands. Hello. David, thanks for your videos. Great work. Greets from the Netherlands. Thank you. You're welcome. Michael says, I salute you, David, for what you do to help people. Thank you, David. Lorraine from Glasgow. Thank you, Lorraine. All right. Jamit. Jamit from Indiana. Hi, Jamit. I have already read your question, and it's so sad and so common. This is something that I help my clients with a lot, problems that arise. Because, Janet, before I start, try to understand where you came from, okay? So, Janet is a mother who's being abused by her children, and they're adults now, and she doesn't know what to do. Let me read it. My oldest child was diagnosed as borderline. Now I feel like that is her excuse for her abusive behavior towards me. And of course, I feel like I caused this mental problem in her. I didn't know I was so involved in abusive relationships that it caused this much trauma in my kids. I'm so ashamed and feel so much guilt that I created this person who is toxic and hurting others. My other children, except my youngest, have disowned me. I am taking a break from them. I did therapy and was told that my getting healthy has caused my family to make me the bad person. Whoever told you that is 100% correct. I know I made mistakes and I'm grieving the loss of the dream of a happy family. Total illusion. It's all my fault. These are adult children. Is this my fault? Is this all my fault? Did I damage my own children and inflict this toxicity on the world? Thank you. You have helped me tremendously. Thank you, Jamet. This is not your fault. Okay? It does no good to sit here and look for faults. Looking for faults, is just judgment, isn't it? Because looking for fault means, who made a mistake? Who made a mistake? So let's start at the top. Your oldest child is diagnosed as borderline. I'm sorry. Now she's using that as her excuse for her abusive behavior towards me. Absolutely common. Very, very, very common. And I'm going to have borderlines down below say that I would never do that. I've never done that. I've never hurt anybody. I've never abused anybody. I get that. The problem with borderline personality disorder, it severely means you lack awareness of who you are, your behaviors, how it affects other people, severely. And it is so common for people with borderline personality disorder to be diagnosed and use that as, it's okay now. It's my disorder. It's my disorder. It's my disorder. Yeah, well, that's too bad, because everybody might have a disorder of some kind. Everyone. Okay, whether it's an eating disorder, 70% of females in this country, young females have eating. I mean, Jesus. I mean, we have behavioral disorders and mood disorders and addiction disorders. Probably everyone has some disorder. What does that mean? Because I see this so much. I see this so much. People excuse their bull crap, right? Oh, I always do that. Great. I'm glad you're aware that you always do something messed up that causes problems for people and hurts their feelings. And I mean, that's great. That's you. I'm sorry, but everybody can better themselves somehow. But they gotta want to. It's gotta matter, you know. It doesn't matter to her. She has taken her trauma and she has identified with it, and to the point where she owns it and says, it's all me. That's who I am. I'm sorry, but whatever happens to all of you out there does not define you. It's what you do about it that better defines who you are. Not somebody mistreated you, because that's a lot of you guys think you're a piece of crap because people hurt you, or that it's your fault, or that you deserve it. No. No. And we all have problems. We all need to fix our problems. Enough said. You feel like you caused this mental problem in her. I didn't know I was so involved in abusive relationships that it caused us some trauma to my kids. I believe you. Okay, Mom? Mom, you made mistakes like all of us, and it's okay. And I hope you find a way to forgive yourself. Start with therapy. Start by talking. Start by looking in the mirror and telling yourself you're sorry. Start by understanding your traumas, your childhood, the people that abused you or neglected you, and all your relationships, okay? Start to understand them and heal from them. Takes 3 parts. I'm on that 4. Takes 3 parts that make up who a person is and becomes. 3. Okay, Mom? First is genetic. You have no control over that. Second is culture. The only control you have over that is what country you live in. Okay? Not your fault either. The third is upbringing. And you're half responsible for that. Half responsible for upbringing. When you heal from your own childhood and realize how neglected and possibly abused you were, which you gotta do, and I hope that you do, and take